Hi, everyone. We are coming into week 3, and this week we are finishing up the time period between the post-Civil War and beginning of World War I. So we've read several different pieces by several different authors in that time period. In addition to those readings that we're doing and the journal and discussion board you're doing, I'm asking you to start thinking about a piece or two that you'd like to hone in on to write about or produce a multimodal project on for your first big assignment. So I am going to share my screen and walk you through what those options look like. And for each of the 3 different segments of history that we are covering for American literature, you are being asked to either write a literary analysis essay or to create a multimodal option. And throughout the term, the summer course together, I'm asking you to write at least one literary analysis. And so I'm going to cover that quickly. The literary analysis essay is the traditional form of how we show our thoughts and analyses on a piece of writing in literature. And it is the one that I am the most schooled on, the one that I've had to do many, many times. And it's the one that is most traditionally done in literature courses. And when you write a literary analysis essay, you are trying to find some particular component or components that you can pick apart and create a thesis for. So you might be looking at Kate Chopin and the use of weather imagery. When we read about the storm, there's this brooding storm coming that forces the 2 main characters together for this intimate moment. And there's this notion of tension building that obviously correlates to the feeling of sexual tension that is building between these 2 characters. It's an analogy, it's a metaphor. How does the author do it? Why does she do it? How do you receive it? How do you think people of the time received it? So you are looking to try to dig and discover new ways to understand a piece of literature. The somewhat difficult thing with reading literature that's been around a long time is that if you Google analyses of these pieces, you will find other people's thoughts. So I would like to encourage you not to do that. I would like you to come at the analyses fresh, to think about how you reacted to the piece. Maybe you took notes while you read it. Maybe you observed that you liked it or you didn't like it. Start poking apart why. When I was in undergrad, I remember I had to read Paradise Lost by Milton, and I hated it. I hated the way he talked about women. I hated the intricacy and convoluted nature of it. I rebelled against having to read this piece. And so it was fun when I finally got the chance to write an analysis essay, just kind of ripping it apart. And I know that feels somewhat audacious to rip apart a work by a great author, but it was very satisfying. So you can look for pieces that you love or you loathe, or you just aren't sure how you feel about them, and start to think about how you're going to analyze them. Each of you will approach a piece differently because each of you comes from different places, different times, different perspectives and beliefs and attitudes. And so pieces can hit differently depending on where you're at a time. I've read pieces that I hated 10 years ago and I come back to them and I'm like, why did I hate this? I love it now. So think about how you want to dig apart those pieces. I do have some videos that I've pre-recorded about writing a literary analysis that goes into more detail about how to do that. But I just wanted to give you a quick glance at this. If you do end up writing the literary analysis, we're looking for 3 typed double-spaced pages in MLA format. We're looking for some citations in each of your body paragraphs. So you're taking specific parts of the text, whether that's poems or a short story, and you're using it to help prove your thesis statement. And you are trying to be a bit more formal. So you're using literary terminology that we might have gone over in this class. You are avoiding the use of personal pronouns and 2nd-person pronouns, so no I or no you. You are referring to the authors of the works by their last name once you've introduced them. So those are some standard guidelines for writing a literary analysis essay. And page 2 breaks down the grading rubric. So analysis, purpose, organization, development, style, standard academic writing, and MLA formatting. And these are all worth 100 points. The other one that I have not assigned before, so I'm eager to see what these look like, is the multimodal assignment. And for that, rather than writing a traditional literary analysis essay, I'm asking you to think abstractly and creatively. And this might appeal to your learning style or your tendency towards the artistic, but being able to think about how you would present some of this information. So some options would include a collage that combines quotations and visuals representing a character, an event, or a theme. And then you'd have to set up a meeting with me so that we can discuss it. A diary of one of the characters as the story unfolds and presenting it visually, like in a PowerPoint or a slide of some sort. Preparing a reader's theater, writing some dialogue, doing a podcast, creating a board game. You can check through those options. There's more on page 2. So lots of them. If you're thinking of doing the multimodal, I'd ask that you reach out to me and propose what you're thinking about, and we can talk through it together, and then we can see how it would work. Again, I have not had students do these before, so I'm interested in what they would look like and how they would sound, and I'm excited to see the creativity that you might come up with these. For all of these, you do have to have at least one reflective paragraph in addition to whatever version of multimodal you end up doing that explains in more detail why you made the choices you did and your understanding of the piece. So again, you have the option for this first essay of doing either a traditional literary analysis essay or of doing the multimodal, I have a hard time saying that word, multimodal option, which is a more creative project. So take a look at both of those documents that are in the week 3 folder. Be thinking about a piece or pieces that has appealed to you and the components of it that have intrigued you or frustrated you. And check out the resources there that are there on writing a literary analysis. And if you're puzzled and want some more context, I am happy to meet via Zoom or email or face-to-face or on the phone if that works for you, and we can talk through some ideas. All right, hope that helps. Have a good rest of your week, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.